Breaking news: Nigerians, Matawalle as defense minister may politicize terrorism, banditry situation in Zamfara. Civil society cautions President Tinubu. Guys, the civil society advocacy group for accountability and probity has cautioned President Bola Ahmed Tinubu over his choice of the former Zamfara State Governor Bello Matawalle as the Minister of State for Defense, saying the former governor may politicize the terrorism ravaging his state. Now, the advocacy group mentioned that Matawalle had not officially visited the state to assess the security situation because the state is now under the opposition party led by Governor Lawal Dauda. The group national coordinator, Dennis Mahmood, at a press conference in Abuja, also adopted the inability by the minister to render account of the multi-billion naira Dusu International Cargo Airport as part of the reasons for calling for his removal. Mamo called on the Economic and the Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) to step in and bring Matawalle and his co-travelers to justice over the alleged misuse of 11 billion worth cargo airport fraud. Now, we are also aware that in his capacity as Minister of the State for Defense, Matawalle has decided to politicize banditry and terrorism attacks in his home state of Zamfara. And to top it all, he hasn't officially visited the state to assess the security situation, but rather he chose to embark on military tourism in faraway Turkey while blocking the governor of Zamfara state from meeting Mr. President on this burning issue. And now they've called on the president to demonstrate the right action by promoting the fight against corruption and theft in public office. For a man who once said the cost of a cargo airport in Jusu was 28 billion and then quickly reduced it to 11 billion in round figures, there is no way Nigerians will be convinced that Matawalle was both a contractor and awarding institution, because no reputable bidder would agree to such a drastic reduction of over 61% in a cost without a corresponding reduction in the scope of work. This indeed raised questions about the integrity of the bidding process, if there was any at all. So, his claim that the contract financing facility was used by the cargo airport, whereas he actually paid upfront for the project from state funds, goes to the show that he has forgotten that he was bound by the Procurement Act and was giving loans to his companies and his proxies. Since the CFF is done between banks and contractors without the involvement of the governors, Matawalle dubiously assumed himself as bank, giving loans to contractors without recourse for laying down regulations. And contrary to claims that payment for the cargo airplane and other contracts were made by the contractor solely based on certificates issued by the supervising ministries or agencies, records clearly shows that all payments made to the contractors were done in Zamfara state under Bello Matawalle were not based on the accurate assessment of the work done and also not certified by the supervising ministries. Specifically concerning the cargo airport, an initial advance payment was made to contractors representing 30% of the total sum of the total contract in the sum of about more than 3 billion naira without the approval of the designs and the bills and the qualities of the project by relevant government departments. So, my country people, they have insisted that Tinubu should look into this matter. Tinubu has to caution Mr. Bello Matawalle. Now they've called out to him that at this moment he has ignored Zamfara state. He has ignored the state. As a Minister of Defense, he ought to have visited the state. They've also laid some allegations of, of corruption and also fraud committed by Bello Matawalle. And now the civil Society Advocacy Group have called on Tinubu to relieve the minister of his job until he is exonerated of the charges. All these charges that are before him, they have demanded that, in fact, Tinubu should sack this defense minister over this alleged fraud. Because, Bello Matawalle, who is the immediate past governor of Zamfara State in Nigeria's northwest, has been called upon for allegations of corruption and embezzlement that was masterminded by him during his tenure as the governor of the state. They've said that the governor embezzled billions of naira through shady contract dealings, including a cargo airport, which has really damaged his reputation and the integrity of the current administration. And at this point, for an administration that rode off the waves of integrity and the need to fight corruption, identifying a man of questionable character like Bello Matawalle is a direct mockery of the expectations of Nigerians and as believers of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's vision. So they've called out to the president that, see, they cannot fold their arms and watch all these things happening, that they have to do something. The president has to do something about this. And apart from the alleged fraud in the cargo airport saga, they've also accused Bello Matawalle of so many things, that it seems that he's now like a direct enemy of progress. Or he's now like a direct enemy of progress and development in his own state. At this point, they've decided to hold the bulls by the horn and to drag Bello Matawalle because his integrity is being questioned. And as such, he would be compromised. How can he fight terrorism as the defense minister when they've not concluded the issues of corruption and allegations on his head? So if he should remain in power, the future of fighting insecurity is not really guaranteed in the state because this man has no sense of accountability at all. They've accused Matawalle of awarding several contracts without any form of valuation, which is against the due process as outlined in the Procurement Act, which he did. Embezzlement of resources from the people of Zamfara through the airport is just one of the many accusations on him. They've alleged case of fraud, financial banditry and all of that. So my country people, for a man who has a questionable character, his integrity is being questioned, and now they've also applied this to his recent appointment that this man called Bello Matawalle would also politicize terrorism and the banditry situation in Zamfara state. Guys, what are your thoughts on this? I'm dropping here. Kindly share your thoughts concerning this in the comment section.